cash flow projection. Now what they did in this example is they said, I'm going to start my business, and to get started it's going to cost me $2,970. So $2,097, I'm going to buy business cards, get a sign, get some equipment, whatever it is. It's going to cost me that much to get started. So my next month, my first month of operating, I'm going to be in the hole $2,970. Now I'm projecting based on market and what I've talked about and the research that I've done. And this is a pretty good projection I feel, that I can do $1,800 in sales the next month. Now, I'm not going to have any variable costs. My fixed costs are $1,000. So I'm going to be a little bit better, but I'm still in the hole in month 2. I move this to month 3. My sales, I think, is going to be because of seasonality. You got to take that into business plan. I'm going to do less in this month. I don't think this month is as big a month. I'll do $1,500. My variable cost will be $720. Fixed cost this. I'm still down $2,390. So this gives me total. How much do I need to start this business? How much money do I have to have? I have to have at least $3,000 for $2,997. I would be uncomfortable being right on the line based on projections and everything, but I have to have that much. If I have that much, then I know that I can cover my expenses because, once I found break even, then I've got to have enough to take me to break even. Now, you might ask, why is there no cost here, but there is here? Cash flow, not income statement. How could you sell product but not have the cost of the product? 30-day terms. This particular company paid for this stuff in the next month. They had a delay in paying for it. When you're doing a cash flow, if you're giving 30 days terms, then you might have 0 in cash here because they have 30 days to pay you. And maybe because you're a new company, they're not going to give you any terms at all. It's COD. So you're going to have to buy it in advance. You may have had to buy it to open up the business inventory, so you might have to buy it there. But this is a cash flow statement. It identifies your shortfalls, and it helps you project and to run your business. When we do projected cash flows, we have actual and projected. When the actual is different from the projected, we make adjustments. So in the recession, when things went down, the smart business owners, if they could not see how to bring revenue back up, knew they had to cut costs. So they might have the first month been in shell shock and thought it was, or whatever. But in a hurricane, you would have known. It was a hurricane, you saw it, You know that the trees are down and other stuff. So you can say, I'm not doing any business right now. I need to cut my expenses right now. You may have to lay off people immediately. You may have to cut inventory. You may have to cut costs. Whatever you need to do, you have to keep balance your revenue and your income. This helps you do it. You'll never be exactly what you project, but you've made your plan based on that projecting. And if the world changes, then you can make changes. You have to always document. We talked about your bookkeeping, your accounting, keeping your records. You get involved in things like sales tax. If you're selling something tangible, sales tax is very complicated. We have a Department of Revenue right here in Daytona Beach that can help you with that. I'm not going to help you with sales tax because it's so different for every business. Very complicated. But you got to know it and you got to pay it. If you don't, you're in big trouble. If you take someone's money and you don't give it to the state, you took it for the state, you collected the sales tax for the state, and you keep it and use it for payroll or something else, you're in big trouble. Don't do that. Same with payroll taxes. If you deduct payroll taxes but you don't pay them, that's why I like using the payroll service. These are mistakes you can't make. They're not forgiving at all. They think you're fraudulent. They will hurt you. In accounting, never give up control. Never trusting Betty. Look at what Jessup's pawn shop, what $450,000 she embezzled. She worked there for 14 years, part of the family, met somebody online, had a relationship online with this person. That person developed cancer, didn't have money to pay for treatments. She starts stealing from her employer, sending it to that person to treat their cancer because they're going to die they don't get the money, guess what? Didn't have cancer. She's in jail. And the store's out $450,000. Never allow someone to control all your money. Don't have a bookkeeping department, a billing department, someone doing that. Get your bank statements and stuff at your home so you can look at it. Make sure you sign off on every check. I mean, there are systems you wouldn't believe that they can rip you off. Be very careful. I remember when I was studying accounting, they went under the stairs. They used to have these air systems where they would collect money in the retail and they put in these tubes, and they'd go back to the bookkeeping and back and come a receipt. This guy set up underneath the stairs a system and rigged it so he could grab the stuff as he went up. He could take the money out and put in a thing and shoot it back down to him, and he was stealing the money. I mean, watch out. You know, put controls in place, have delivery ticket numbers, track those numbers if they disappear, people give cash. I had one store in New Smyrna Beach. Hired this guy straight out of college. He worked his way up from sweeping floors up to manager of the store. All of a sudden, there's my cash deposits were going down. Found out he developed a cocaine addiction, and he was taking the cash. And so, put controls in place. That's why it's good to work with an accountant, because it hurts you. It puts you out of business. It makes you unemployed people that used to work in your company before it closed. You've got to control it. The business plan. Everybody should have a business plan. There's no excuse to have it. And it doesn't have to be a full-blown 50-page document. It could be a simple little 5-plan overview that addresses all the elements of business. They all have to be addressed. Can you imagine building a house and not having a plan for the electrical? That would make no sense at all. Or not having a plan for the plumbing. You know, it all works together, and you've got to have the plan. It gives you a reality check, you make adjustment, and set your goals. You can start it from scratch, you can do an outline. There's tremendous software available. You can go to the SBA.gov site, and they've got a real free business planning program there that you could, and it's a template program. You can put in things like, my rent would be $1,000 a month, and it'll spread it out for the whole year. So it'll do calculations for you and all that kind of stuff. It'll ask you questions that have to be answered. You might have to find out, but you know, it will help you do it right. We also have a program called liveplan.com. LivePlan is very good. We have a course coming up on it. We will work with you on it and we'll review it. Here is the outline of the plan. This is everything that has to be in it. Now again, we have a business plan workshop, so I'm going to hold that for them. But like I said, like the electrical, the plumbing, the windows, the trusses, all of that stuff has to be in a building plan. Same with this. You leave any of it out, you're going to have a problem. Financing, where are you going to get the money? A lot of people use savings. There are ways to take 401k plans, qualified retirement plans, switch them over to a company that you own that qualifies, and use that money to start your business. A lot of people use their savings to start a business. Love money? Who loves you? Willing to give you money? If you borrow any money from family and friends, have an agreement. What you're going to pay them back and when you're going to pay them back. Because you may agree verbally to pay them back in a year, 5% interest or no interest or whatever it is. All of a sudden you're doing real well. You want to take a little break, go on a vacation. They're going, how can you go on vacation when you owe me money? Well, it's only 7 months. You said a year. Well, I want my money back. I need my money. Well, that wasn't our agreement. Have it in writing. Credit cards, whatever lending instrument you're using should relate to your use for that. So a lot of people use credit cards, but if they can put it on a credit card, sell it and get the money back and pay off the credit card at the end of the month, not a bad way of doing it. But you have to look at your cost of money and figure that in. If it's 21% interest, that's a lot of extra cost put on there. Will the customers pay it? So some people use credit cards, but make sure it's for the right place. Bank loans, line of credit, home equity mortgages, barter, supplier credit, stock offering. Be careful about bringing other people into your business. There's ways to do it, then you don't give away the farm. Can you imagine the Google guys in college and Uncle Henry, they need some money to get some equipment. And he says, well, I'll give you $25,000 for 25%. A couple of college guys, they're going, all right, $25,000. You know, we can buy this and that and everything else. And then he gets $250 million back for his $25,000 investment. That wasn't a good deal. So that didn't happen, but I'm just saying, be very careful. You get people in you don't want to be in business with. You know, you're paying them much more than you should have. So be very careful about equity offerings. And there are rules and regulations of that. If you try to start selling stock to certain people, if they aren't the right people to be able to buy stock, there's protected classes. If they don't have the information, let's say they're elderly and maybe not, you know, proven as the best thinkers in the world, you could be in trouble if you sell them shares in your company and they're in a protected class for investing. So, you know, there's a lot of rules and regulations on that, so be real careful. SBA guarantees. There's SBA guarantees, working capital, buildings and equipment, combinations of working capital for certain select groups that are, they have special loans. So we can help you get this. What this is used for a lot of times is if they guarantee a loan, they don't loan money except in a disaster. They do bridge loans in a disaster, but they guarantee the loan. So the bank's more likely to give you a loan if 75% of it's guaranteed by the SBA. So they're only taking a 25% risk, and it also allows them to loan more money because they have to keep a certain amount in reserves for the loans they have. So they have less risk, they can loan more money. So it's not a bad deal. We can help you with that. Bill, how did I do, huh?
Not bad.
I have never finished on time before. So we got a few minutes. You can fill out blue forms, but let's open it up for questions. Because I went pretty quick. Listen.
I did have one question on